FATA was not known to the American people before 1990. Now everyone knows, whoever opened up the CNN or Fox, they know the FATA. FATA is in Afghanistan and Pakistan border. Where the kid born, once the kid boy born, they bring the gun and put it on next to his bed. Even though there is not this type of violence. They kill each other when they become adults, Taliban, non-Taliban. But we never heard any incident in any Afghanistan school where kids carry the guns by culture, they kill their friends. So I hope that one day the White House will be the real White House and they will stop this nonsense, to stop NRA and their lobbies. Now I would like to invite my dear friend, Mr. Athar Tirmizi. He's a young Muslim leader, lives in Suffolk. Mr. Athar Tirmizi.
Assalamu alaikum everybody and welcome, and thank you Mufti, welcome all. There is a great thing that we here in the United States, and some of the other speakers talked about it, the same thing, that we have a constitutional right to carry arms and bear arms. But America has changed in the last couple of hundred years since the Constitution was written, and the debate goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But the thing is that the reality is that NRA is a very strong lobby, and it is the lobby. We have been doing some research in the last couple of weeks, and what we realize is NRA has not given huge sums of donations to the most of the individuals. It doesn't work that way. What they did was, over the period and a constant period of times, so there are some people that they will give large donations, but what they usually do is small donations, $50, $400 every year consistently for the last 20, 24 years, 30 years, whoever these people in the power. And in the last 20 years, they will say, oh, we have received over $100,000 from NRA, one elected official, right? And that's how they have basically blanketed. And if you look, what NRA has done is that they used to be almost bipartisan, 60-70% Republican, 40-30% Democrats. In the last 15-20 years, it's mostly just Republicans. Basically, their lobby is very strong, saying that, listen, if you basically, agree with what we stand for, we'll come with you, support you constantly, or year after year after year after year, and may not even ask you anything in return in the beginning. But when the time comes, like these incidents happen, all of a sudden the lobbies come out, the elected officials come out, and they say this is not the time to speak. So unfortunately, we have to change the mentality, and I think what these kids have done in Florida is amazing. What they accomplished in the last 2-3 weeks, I think as parties and peoples, unfortunately we haven't been, and the last so many years over these mass shootings. But, I think one of the things that these kids have proved is that they don't have anything to lose. And that's the mentality that we have to fight this fight with, that we have nothing to lose. I mean, unfortunately, what will happen is if legislators are a little bit afraid to speak that they're going to get a backlash or whatever, then you're never going to fight this battle. What you're going to have to do is go in with this mindset that we have nothing to lose but our lives, unfortunately, at this point. So we have to fight this battle. And there are people that will say, stop the selling of the guns and all that other stuff. Unfortunately, what happens is that argument doesn't sell even within some Democrats and liberals, because they will come out and say it's not the guns, right? And if you look at it, it may not really be the guns. It may be the magazines. It may be the mental health background check and all that. So when we talk about we got to stop the guns, stop the guns, stop guns, our focus kind of just gets so, miscued by just one or two things. It's not just the guns, because I'll tell you, you go in for a 9mm, you can buy a magazine that has 50 bullets, and it will shoot as fast as an AR-15. So it is not the gun. So the idea that we're going to say that we got to stop the guns, unfortunately, that's not where the end's going to happen, because people will still have high-powered magazines available to them. They'll go and shoot with the magazines on a smaller gun, and a handgun, and a pistol, right? So we got to take the focus away from the guns, and we got to bring it to the magazines. We got to bring it to the mental health. I mean, they are so strong, NRA as a lobby, that CDC wanted to have a study of mental health and gun violence, and they killed it. Republicans, there was a bill, the CDC wanted the money, and they killed it. This is how strong they are, that you cannot even study the effects of mental health on gun violence, which is just a study. It's not suggesting anything else. So the lobby is very strong, and some of the other speakers have said the same thing, that we have to be much stronger and we have to get united. But our focus has to be same thing. It's not the guns, it's the magazines, it's the guns, it's the mental health issues, it's the background check, sensible gun laws, all of those things we need to focus on. And everybody has to focus on those things, because we have, divided views amongst ourselves as well. So what we need is a very united view. To fight this, we need 5 things. We need sensible gun laws. We need to have high-powered magazines off the market. Anybody that needs a gun has to get a permit, have to go for a shooting range. You cannot go off, these private shooter loopholes. You can go through those things. So there are many things, but we need to, as a community that, have kids and go to schools, we cannot just go and say that, hey, listen, we just want the guns off the street, because that's not the solution, unfortunately. So hopefully, things like these and dialogues like these are the dialogues that we do take things into account, which are more than just the gun control and AR-15s of the market. Thank you very much.